Hello, everyone. I am Joey, the COO at Fab-Form Industries, and our company is completely revolved around solving the most expensive and complex part of any construction project, and that is taming the ground. So every single building material in the world comes in dimensional portions. You've got lumber, you've got bricks, you've got steel. They all come in predetermined lengths. The only building material in the world that flows and changes shape and is perfect for nodulating over uneven ground is concrete. So all we want to do in this business is provide the most cost-effective and efficient solutions for forming concrete. This is a beautiful and amazing building material. All we want to do is tame the ground. So to get a good idea of what our company is trying to solve, you just need to take a look at this picture. This is on West 10th, just by City Hall in Vancouver. 1987, and what you can see here is the ground is clearly, the excavation isn't perfect. We've got uneven ground there, and what the contractors just did is just keep throwing lumber at the problem, preventing concrete from leaking out of the bottom of the footing. They've also just got beautiful 3/4-inch plywood, 2x4 studs everywhere to hold the concrete walls. And this was extremely frustrating because once they stripped all of this lumber off, it was all going right into the landfill. All of it was thrown out, and there was no value added to the concrete itself. There's no insulation provided, there's no damp-proofing materials. It's basically a shell of concrete and a massive amount of waste. And this is the reason why Fab-Form started 30 years ago. So what we first started doing was looking at using woven plastics, woven fabrics to hold concrete. We only need to hold concrete for 2 hours, maybe. So why are we investing all this time and energy shipping heavy-duty plywood, steel forms to hold concrete for the short amount of time that we need to? So we first started looking at using it to tame the ground for footings. We then began experimenting using fabric to form concrete walls. Pretty interesting and beautiful reliefs, but it wasn't suitable on a commercial scale for forming walls. We then started looking at prefabrication of construction panels to eliminate all the on-site errors. And then just kind of coming together using fabric to form concrete, something that no one has commercially done before. So one product that I want to talk about that we are extremely excited about is something that you probably see 1 to 2 times a day based off your diet, and that is a toilet paper roll. So the majority of concrete columns in North America are formed with basically a toilet paper roll. So take a toilet paper roll, times it by 100, and you'll be producing a cardboard sonotube. So if you see any sort of columns you see and you see a spiral line around it, that was formed with a cardboard tube. So these things are a great product. They work perfectly for the 2 hours that it needs to hold concrete, but it's everything before and after that concrete pour. That's the issue with sonotubes. So we came up with a product called, well, I won't get there yet, but here's a couple of the issues with sonotubes. Number one reason is space. So we are storing air basically for all of these building supply stores. So they come in different diameters, varying heights, 10 feet, 12 feet, but they take up a massive amount of space, so you're storing air. Incredibly wasteful. The other issue, we got transportation to the lumberyard, but then from the lumberyard to the job site, you'll be having guys spending an hour back to the lumberyard, back to the job site to pick up one of these sonotubes. Incredibly wasteful. And then you've got waste. Because it comes to determined lengths of 10 feet, if you only need a 6-foot column, you just increase your price by 40%, and you're throwing 4 feet of that away. So it's an extremely wasteful product as well. And like anything that's made of paper product, if it gets wet, it will fail. So if someone sets up a sonotube on a Friday and they come to pour on Monday and you had a rain throughout the weekend, that formwork will fail. You'll lose all of your concrete and you'll have to pour again. So lots of times you'll see on Monday mornings guys running to the job site to pick up 1 or 2 sonotubes because they know that they're going to fail if they got moisture on the weekend. The pricing itself is all somewhat relative, but it all comes down to shipping. So 1 lineal foot of 10-inch diameter sonotube in Surrey, North Coast, is $3.70. Newark, New Jersey, right now we're at $6.27. And in Honolulu, we're at $14.27 for 1 lineal foot of 10-inch diameter sonotube. Is that expensive? We're not sure yet. But we saw all of these issues and knew that there was going to be a better solution using fabric to form concrete columns. So we have Fab-Form. So this is a woven polyethylene fabric that once you get concrete into the formwork itself, it'll form a perfect circle, assuming that you have gravity on the job site. So it's the only formwork that you can consolidate with your hands. You can throw a vibrator in if you want, but we are not shipping air anymore. It's the most efficient way to form a circular column. So back to space, that's 100 feet of 10-inch diameter sonotube. So in 10-foot lengths, 10 of them, it's 1% of the space. So it comes in about the size of a briefcase, and it's 10% the weight of a cardboard sonotube. So incredible space savings. If you're a lumberyard, you jump at the idea to be able to free up all this square footage and stock more higher margin products. Waste comes on a 100-foot roll, right? So if we need 6 feet, you're just going to cut 6 feet. So there's practically no waste when you're using this product compared to a sonotube. And because it's a woven plastic, it's waterproof. So you could set it up now, you could pour on New Year's Day, and you'd be fine. The only thing that can damage it is UV, but that's talking years and years and years of UV exposure before you got any sort of failure with it. So from a storage standpoint, lumberyards absolutely love the product. And then finally, number one factor is cost. So we're at $14.27 in Hawaii. We're selling it at $1.20 a lineal foot. So we're 10% the price in Hawaii. We're a third the price here in Surrey, BC. And shipping it from down the road to Surrey or shipping it to Hawaii is roughly the same price these days with the cost of shipping. So we're going to be able to compete in every single market, leaps and bounds. What's really exciting about this product, though, is in the developing world. So places like Haiti, Africa, they don't have any access to any formwork, and they don't have any access to any skilled labor. So Fab-Form can achieve both of those, can solve both of those problems. So this is a church that they're building in Uganda. They can save money for the cement, they can save up money for the aggregate, but they just don't have the formwork system. So they're ripping little strips of wood, they're tying them together with coat hangers. So this way they can solve the issue with the formwork, and it's incredibly easy to work with. So Haiti was a disaster because they had no reinforced concrete. Fab-Form can solve that problem for them. So super simple to work with, again, waterproof. So they can set up the forms. If they need to wait 2 weeks to save up money for the cement, they can do that and then pour when they're ready. So it's got huge potential overseas. So that's the most exciting product that we have coming out with it. But we created several other products in our line. This is the one we're most excited about. First product that we did create, we talked about it earlier, was our Fast Foot for forming footings. So normally on a construction site like this, you're going to just see miles and miles of lumber, either plywood, 2x12s. So this just gets stapled to the 2x4s and adapts to the uneven ground, enclosing the concrete. So huge reduction in labor, huge reduction in cost, and all of that lumber stays clean, so we can reuse that lumber over and over and over again. Conventional formwork, it gets extremely heavy once you get wet concrete on it. It's very difficult to strip the formwork, and this solves all of those problems. The other thing that it does do is it acts as a capillary break. So not many people think of this, but concrete is a sponge. So it'll suck up moisture from where it's wet, take it to where it's dry. This acts as a capillary break on our footings as well. We've got fast pads. These are pretty straightforward. You drop it on the ground and you fill it with concrete. So to achieve this conventionally, you're chopping up some 2x10s, you're making a box, you're staking it in, you're placing your concrete, stripping the wood, and you're throwing that wood out. This you're simply dropping on the ground and filling it. You can imagine the potential for a product like this with all the solar farms that are being built all around the world. Drop them down, you're producing the foundation for your solar farms in the fraction of the time. Insulated concrete forms. This is basically a coffee cup for your foundation walls. So that insulation is the formwork and it stays on. We started looking at ICFs about 6 years ago, and we noticed deficiencies in the bracing system. So this bracing system you're seeing on the wall we created, it's about 1/10 the cost of conventional systems that are available. It uses dimensional lumber and provides a safe adjustable walkway for pouring ICF walls. In regards to ICFs as well, we created a system where you can pour your footings and walls at the same time. So just leading to increased efficiencies. This is a pool in Springfield, Missouri. So what you can see is we've developed these little drill adjustable feet. Those will elevate the ICF off the ground. And then what they've done is they've attached our fast foot footing fabric to the exterior of the wall. You'll see that at the base, leaving it open to the inside. They're using our bracing system, and they're able to pour the footings, the slab, and the walls in one day. Normally that's a 1 week process, and we've cut that down to 1 day. So those are the products that we're doing, that we've created. We're really excited about the fast tube material that's coming up. We've signed an agreement with Haigahara, who's probably the best weavers in the world out of Japan, to develop and innovate a new version of fast tube that's going to be ready later on this year that we'll discuss later. But Vish is going to talk about the financial health of the company really quickly here.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Vishwanath Kumar. I'm the financial controller of the company. I've been with the company just over 3 years right now. So let's look at the revenue growth of the company. So over the last 5 years, we managed to achieve compound average growth rate of 21%. Particularly in 2021, we achieved 4 million in revenue and 6 million in 2022. It's quite a good milestone to achieve for the Fab-Form. So looking at net profitability of the company, in 2022, particularly 1.25 million in net profits, which is basically 21% net profit margin, 64% increase from 2021. It's a massive jump in profits as we grow the revenue. And all our products actually contributed towards the profitability. So we have healthy margins on all our products. So like Joey mentioned, fast tube is on the track. So it's going to be the game changer for us in terms of profitability. 75% on fast tube. That will be the top of the line of the products that we have. The second would be fast food, contributing 70% on our gross margin. The rest of the products will be just over 50% margins. So looking at how did we achieve the margins and how did we achieve the profitability over a short period of time. So like Joy mentioned, we started the business 2 years ago, and it took decent amount of time to adapt these changes into the market because of nature and the complexity. So now we see a growth in demand for all our products. So over the last 3 years, we looked at all our processes again. We managed to re-engineer some of the processes to bring down costs, which led actually to increase the margins by further margins by 5%. So we did that, and we ascertained that we can do better with the margins if the volume grows. That is one of the things we consider what is possible, and we're not hesitant to do that once we see a growth in the volumes. So looking at fast tube potential, that will be the game changer for the Fab-Form. So what we did, since we don't have any experience or any data to sell fast tube at this large, we actually created a model using external data that is available. So the key data that we used was GDP for 2019 and the population information for each country. And we actually had to apply certain assumptions to quantify the square meter demand for forming columns, the demand for columns. So this is a forward-looking statement basically. We did that quantification using assumptions which are subject to change. We understand that, and certain information, certain variables are basically beyond our control as well. But in order to be conservative in our approach, looking at the revenue figures, we thought that we should calculate look at the revenue targets that we could achieve over the next 3 years by penetrating not more than 5% of the quantified demand. So since we have experience in United States and Canada, we thought that okay, it's appropriate and it's conservative to apply 2.5% in first year and reach to 5% in third year. And all rest of the countries like India, Brazil, Mexico, and Argentina, we believe we can penetrate 1% with our market strategies and reach 2% in third year. So with that projection for the demand, we will be able to generate additional revenue of 2.8 million in first year. The first year could be either 2024 or 2025. Then 4.2 million and 5.6 million in subsequent years. So this is our projection based on a conservative model that we created. So I want to emphasize again, this is an estimate and this is a forward-looking statement. And FastTube is not just a product, a substitute for cardboard tubes. It's actually more than that. Joey, thank you very much. Joey, over to you for closing remarks.
Investors, when they talk to us, or customers, concrete customers, people looking at our products for the first time, they're pretty shocked. Why the hell hasn't this taken off? This makes complete sense. All of our products, they don't understand why the hell we haven't seen the success and growth that that most people think that we should be achieving. So does everyone know what that is? Sheets of drywall. We're surrounded by it right now. It's everywhere. Anyone want to guess when drywall was created or invented? Throw out a number. Sheetrock. There you go. Yeah, 1916 was when it was first created. When it was first created, it was sold in sheets that were 4 feet long, 12 inches high, and the guy just slogged it. It was an uphill battle forever. Everyone was just laughing at him. Does everyone know what was done before sheetrock? Yeah, lathe and plaster. If you're renovating a whole building in Vancouver, you rip the walls apart, you'll see lathe and plaster. So, anyone want to guess when? Give me a year for early adopters of drywall. There you go. Oh, so you know the history. Okay, all right. So, World War II, massive labor shortage. People finally started looking at using drywall. And then it took another 30 years from early adopting for it to become the industry standard, roughly around the mid-70s in North America. So it took 60 years for a product we don't even consider thinking about attempting to do with lathe and plaster. 60 years. This is the dumbest industry to innovate in, and especially concrete construction. Concrete guys are going to be the most conservative people in the world, and they're the ones that aren't Googling how to do my job. Anyone in the tech sector is applying change in a heartbeat. Construction, definitely not. Concrete construction, these guys are hard. And if you go up there saying, I've got a better way to do things that you've been doing for 20 years, you might be leaving with a black eye. So why as you guys and investors, anyone here want to wait 60 years or 30 more years for our products to become the industry standard? No, none of us do. I have no more hair to lose over this. So why is today any different than in 1915, 1940, 1975? Social media is finally doing the hard work for us. So before you go to a trade show, you go to Las Vegas, you spend 20 grand, a whole week of your life ruined in Las Vegas, and you talk to people, you'd scan them with a fake email, and that was the best way to get your word out. You get on the phone book, you call. Instagram and YouTube have changed everything for us. So we can spend pennies on the dollar and get the word out, and we don't even have to be the ones getting the word out for us. So this is a list of quote-unquote influencers. They are not paid spokesmen from us at all. So Awesome Framers, they've got the biggest subscriber base on social media for framing homes. They didn't even tell us. We were subscribed to them, and then they did 3 30-minute episodes on using FastFoot. Huge driver in our sales. And this was right when lumber prices were through the roof. So everyone was already looking at FastFoot. They were on the fence. Once these guys switched on, all of the other guys started following up and using our products, tagging us, sharing it, and now they get pissed off at us because they get so many comments with questions about the product because it's different. No one's seen people using fabric to form concrete. So that's what's changed for us. That's what's exciting, and that's where we see the most growth, or explain why we're finally growing. But it just takes forever, and we don't want to be going the same route that drywall did. So that's our presentation here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.